Hi Frankie, thanks for joining me this morning. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. My name's Frankie Arundel and I'm a secondary school senior leader based in Sheffield.
Lovely, thank you. And I've been working with you on the Leadership Edge programme now for over a year. Could you take us back to the beginning and what brought you to Leadership Edge?
I came to Leadership Edge after experiencing coaching personally myself. I found the whole experience of that really life-changing. I think I wanted to use those skills that I learnt and that experience that I had to be able to help other people in that similar way. So when I experienced coaching, and then as a line manager within my role, I then was using those skills kind of without realising it, because I found it so transformative. To really feel listened to have somebody sit there and really understand me and in a non-judgmental way. And so I found that experience so life-changing, as I said, that it was something that I then wanted to pursue further, and obviously found Leadership Edge coaching through that. Because I'm a school leader, it fitted really nicely. One of the things I'm really passionate about is promoting wellbeing within schools, within staff, and you see that filtering down to students as well. So that was one of the reasons, I guess, I decided to go to develop my coaching through Leadership Edge.
Great. And we often find that once someone has experienced coaching, that's where they get the drive then to bring it to their colleagues and to bring it to friends and family even and at home. And that's also the case with you, and that's great. So once you had done that and you started on the Leadership Edge journey of the 3-tier programme and developing your own coaching skills, what difference have you found that that's made to you professionally?
Yeah, professionally, I've just found that when I'm more mindful of how I interact with staff, and it's just meant that I've developed those skills of listening, and I've found it a really great way to have staff, develop trust between staff. I think that's been really key. I think also staff feeling listened to. I mean, it's human nature. We want to feel understood and feel listened to. And I think sometimes within a busy school, it doesn't feel like there's always a lot of time for that. But because I've seen the importance of it personally, I feel I can see the importance of it within a work environment, within a school. And so to make that time, I found that they found it really, well, they said they found it quite empowering, to be able to be in a situation where they felt listened to by their line manager. And I've seen the results in terms of their performance at work and their happiness levels and their well-being, and their productivity has increased as well.
Great. And these impacts that we hear of all the time might not always be measurable, tangible impacts, but it's a sense of being in the workplace which changes, and we know it's real because we experience it, don't we?
Definitely.
And what about personally? Has it made any difference to you?
Personally, I found it to be really beneficial just to have that thinking space. Before that, personally, I've got 2 young children. I've got a busy job, I've got a family that, I'm really committed to. I never really found time to have that moment to myself to reflect. And I now I've had it, I see that it's so crucial and so important. So having that thinking space, that time sort of held for me just to reflect on my own sort of things, what I think is important in my life at that point, and to be able to see a way forward for things has been beneficial, because I just wouldn't have had that time otherwise. I would have just kept going and not really thought and been very mindful of what I was doing in my life. And I think by having this coaching, it's meant that I've got that time, I can reflect and I can move forward intentionally rather than just going through the motions.
Fantastic, really great story to hear the impact that it has on the individual as well as the school culture. If there are any people with school responsibility, school leadership responsibility, who are curious about either receiving coaching, learning to coach others, or building a coaching culture within their school, what advice would you give to them?
I would definitely recommend that they try and experience coaching for themselves, if they haven't already, because that's how I came to be part of this, having the idea that this is a really impactful thing on my life. And I think unless you try those things, you wouldn't necessarily know. If you look and you see that there are so many testimonials of people who have experienced coaching in schools that have used it, I would ask around and, say, which schools have used it, go and speak to them, and try it, because it's really a great way to embed a culture of coaching, non-directive coaching within your workforce, that just there's so many benefits to. And through the coaching process, I think with Leadership Edge, I think it's a really great way to start that process and to allow it to grow. Like, the model allows it to grow really well within staff. And once you have a few staff members that have experienced this coaching, they're the ones that will say how amazing this is and how transformative it is, and you'll sort of see it grow within your workforce.
Thank you, Frankie. And that evolution, that organic growth that you mentioned, where the staff are wanting it and they're asking for it, kind of takes hopefully the responsibility away from the senior leaders in some respects. If you believe in it and you embed it, then it rolls itself, because people feel drawn to it, they see the benefit of it. So it's great. We're delighted that you've experienced that in your schools as well. So thank you for joining us today, and really appreciate your feedback, and onwards with the coaching journey.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much.